Hey everybody! In this video we're going to be going over all of the early game dungeons that drop stat potions to help you guys max. I'm going to be using the same necromancer from the past video that we made, and I'm just using a set of kind of early mid-game items that I farmed from the highest level biome in the realm. So we have a tier 8 staff, tier 5 skull, tier 9 robe, and tier 5 health ring. And then later in the video, I get this ST staff. It's not that much stronger than the tier 8, so I started using it just for fun. And this time, I am bringing a pet, a common pet with max level heal. This is pretty much easy to obtain for most people, so I thought I would bring it just to be about on the same level as you would be for your playthrough. In all the chapters, first I go over the item drops and the difficulty of the dungeon, and then there will be a section where you see a full gameplay segment of me going through to give you an example of how to do it. So, have fun and enjoy. Alright, starting off with Snake Pit. Snake Pit is the main source of speed potions in the early game, and it also drops quite a few UT items. There's the shield for knights, the leather armor for all of the leather armor classes, the snake eye ring, which is a very valuable swap out. It gives all classes access to the speedy buff, the snake charmer pungi for bards, which gives you speedy if you don't want to use snake eye ring, and finally the wand of the bulwark, which is a very strange wand for the wand classes that is usually only used as a swap out. In terms of difficulty, this dungeon is very easy, and it's not very annoying at all as well. And it's very fast to do. So it's almost always worth doing Snake Pits if you're trying to max out your speed. Snake Pit. This dungeon is pretty quick and easy. There's these breakable walls that you want to just kind of bust your way through. And your goal is to get to the boss. So try and look at the map and see which direction looks like you're heading more toward the center. So here we're going to go down because I feel like it'll wrap around. Yep, and it goes this way. That's a good sign. Moving closer to the big red dot. Now we hit up, see if this is the right way. It looks like it is. We're going to go up again. Nope, not the right way because we're not getting closer. This way must be it. And here we go. Boss fight time. So just stay nice and close to the boss. These minions will circle around and just kind of weave through the knives that they shoot, and watch out for the red bombs. They deal a decent bit of damage. And it's done. And we get not one, but 2 speed potions. Normally you just get 1 from this. Nice, quick, and easy. Alright, up next is Sprite World. Sprite World is your main source of dex potions, but also can rarely drop attack potions from some of the minions, and sometimes defense from the boss as well. The UT items you can find here are the Sprite Wand, which is kind of an unusual wand that isn't usually very good for the wand classes, but it's better than nothing. And there's a Cloak of the Planeswalker, which is extremely good for rogue. It gives you access to a short-range teleport. The Sprite Mace for Summoner, which is a good stationary summon. And finally, the Wand of Extreme Prejudice, which is a very strange swap out for the staff classes. So it's sometimes worth farming for that if you're an endgame player. In terms of difficulty, it's very easy. In terms of how annoying it is, it's only slightly annoying because of the conveyor belts. And in terms of time, it's very, very quick to complete, especially if you have a teleport like the Planeswalker or a Trickster. Alright, we're in the Sprite World. This dungeon looks really weird and is kind of annoying. There's all these conveyor belt kind of structures here, and your goal is to just kind of move through them, watching out for the enemies. There's no enemies in this dungeon that are really a threat. So basically just try and make your way to the boss by zooming out the map and following the path. Alright, here we are at the boss. Very quick and easy. Basically just some very light bullet hell elements with a lot of these annoying conveyor belt sections that just kind of push you around. Careful not to get converged on as the shots go in the middle like that. And every so often the boss will go invulnerable as you transition from the phases. And it's done. And here's our dex pot. Yum yum. Coming up next, we have Cave of 1,000 Treasures. This dungeon is a little bit rare, so it's more uncommon to encounter it in the realm. And it's a great source of various stat potions of different kinds. It's usually doesn't drop the same one every time, but I find it commonly drops defense potions. It has 0 UT items that it drops, which is very unusual. But it can drop the shiny katana, the Jewel Eye Katana, which is a tier 9 one, but it's extremely rare to drop that, so don't get your hopes up. In terms of difficulty, it's quite easy. In terms of annoyance, it's not annoying at all. Just run through, and time is very quick to complete. Alright, Cave of 1,000 Treasures. This one I'm doing in a group because it's a rather rare dungeon, so I was only able to find one when somebody else called it out. But basically, you're just gonna kind of run through. You can mostly ignore the traps in here if you're not afraid to take a little bit of damage. But it's kind of just like a straight line, running through the different traps, weaving through. None of the enemies are super dangerous. Just be careful, of course, but no need to worry too much. Moving over the fire here, it kind of goes in a pattern like this, and we're pretty much at the boss now. This boss has a few phases. He's going to spit out these portals, and then you damage him. And he's going to spit out these little statues, which then you kill, and he'll become vulnerable again. And he is done. Very easy in a group. I do want to make a note, the mark here is very good. It's definitely worth picking it up. Just because of the reward it gives is much better than the other single mark quests. Okay, coming up next we have the Ancient Ruins. The Ancient Ruins is a good source of various potions, most commonly dropping defense in my experience, but you can also get a bunch of other random ones. There's quite a few UTs here. There's the Arcane Rapier, which is a sword, the Sandstone Helmet and Sandstone Seal for Warrior and Paladin, respectively. And there's a full ST Archer set that also drops from this dungeon. In terms of difficulty, it's pretty easy. In terms of time and annoyance, it's pretty annoying moving through the sand, the quicksand, and the cactuses. In terms of time, it takes a bit longer too, depending on your defense and life. If you run through quickly, you might have to Nexus, so just be a little bit careful in this one. Ancient Ruins. This dungeon is pretty easy. But just take it nice and slow. These cactuses here explode after you shoot them, and they can deal a lot of damage to you, especially if you're standing on top of them. That will really hurt, so try and avoid that. And the quicksand will slow you, so just be careful not to let enemies converge on you as you're getting slowed. And it can be pretty maze-like, so just take your time and clear through slowly if you don't have high defense. If you do have high defense, you can kind of just run through sort of like this and ignore most of the enemies since they don't really do that much damage. Here we go, we're slowed, so just being careful. Try and walk on the gravel paths in the quicksand so we don't go that slow. Alright, looks like this is a dead end, unfortunately. So we'll have to go back and go the other direction. Here we go. Going through. More cactus, more little guys. These big monuments here will slow you. Sorry, not slow you, silence you, which prevents you from using your ability. So just watch out for that. Ooh. Taking a lot of damage, but we can heal it back. Uh-oh, kind of in the corner here. It's fine, we can just kill these guys. Take this health potion. Oh wow, we got an ST. That's a rare drop in here. And we'll continue on. Wow, is this a dead end as well? It appears so. But yeah, this dungeon can take a while just because of its maze-like design and the fact that you get slowed just by walking around. Oh, we're really stuck in the quicksand. Just be careful of the cactuses again. I'll stop rushing through so quickly and just take it a little bit slower so I don't have to drink any more of my health potions. I didn't bring that many. Alright, looks like we're almost to the boss now. Get through. We'll just take out these minions before we actually start the battle here. Alright, so this boss is not too tough. He's going to start by just kind of like spraying a bunch of stuff around and shooting these spikes, so just watch out for the spikes. Now he's going to chase, and then he's going to go to the middle, where he spawns all these little ghosts. You have to just deal as much damage to the ghost as you can before he goes to the next phase. So if you have AoE or you're playing like a bow class that really pierces, it's very nice here. Alright, get out of the quicksand. Careful of going in the sand like I did there, you can really get stuck, and if the boss gets on top of you, it's bad news. Almost there. He's going to spit out the ghosts one more time. The ghosts are almost all dead, and he is done. Easy peasy. And we get 1 dexterity. This dungeon can drop a wide range of potions. Magic Woods. Now this is a worthwhile dungeon. The Magic Woods gives almost always guaranteed a dexterity and a speed potion, so it's extremely worth it to do in the early game maxing section of your playthrough. In terms of items, there is a full ST Huntress set, which is pretty decent, and gives access to healing where you normally don't have it. There's also a staff, orb, robe, and ring that are primarily for Mystic, and there is a shield for Knights as well. In terms of difficulty, this dungeon is very easy. In terms of time, it's very fast, and in terms of annoyance, it's very low. One of the best dungeons in the entire game for maxing. Magic Woods. This is an amazing dungeon for maxing your stats. It gives a dexterity and a speed potion. So you get 2 for 1, and it's very, very easy. Just be super careful of the enemies that like move very fast and try and jump on you. But basically just kind of like walk through, don't stand on them. The water in here can make you hallucinate, and it changes your sprite to a different one. As far as I know, it doesn't do anything besides look weird, so you really don't have to worry about it. And here we are, right, already at the boss. Look at that. So you're just going to hit the boss here. It's going to spit these things out. And as soon as it becomes vulnerable, we can fight it. Alright, here it is. It's going to jump at us. Sometimes it'll jump at you. Sometimes it'll stay stationary in the center. Basically just kiting back. Hitting it as much as we can, using your ability when we can. It's going to go in the middle, spit out a bunch of stuff, nothing too dangerous, and it's dead. Look at that. And here we get 1 dexterity and 1 speed. Very nice. Alright, up next is Undead Lair. Undead Lair is the primary source of wisdom potions, and it's a very good early game dungeon, especially for new players. In terms of unique items you can get here, there's 2 pieces of the Necromancer ST set, the Doom Bow, which is a favorite item of mine, the Spectral Sword for sword classes, a spell for wizards, and a ring that only drops from the treasure room in this dungeon that is pretty decent for health and also very good for wisdom on classes that need that. In terms of difficulty, this dungeon is very easy. In terms of annoyance, it's very low. Just watch out for the floor traps that are scattered around. And finally, in terms of time, it is very quick. Very good dungeon. Definitely do a lot of these, especially if you're playing a bow class. That Doom Bow is so nice. Undead Lair. This dungeon is very easy, and it's easy to move through without getting too badly beat up by the minions. Just kind of circle around if you have a large crowd chasing you. And watch out for these little things on the floor here. When you go near them, they'll activate and explode. If you're standing directly on top of them, it can be a real big problem for you. We're just going to kite around in a circle, moving toward the boss. Here we go. If you ever get stuck, just move in a circle here. Just like that. None of the enemies in here are very fast, so you'll be able to outrun them for the most part. This looks like it's the wrong way, so we'll head back the other direction. Here we go. And this is the boss fight in here. So we'll kill the minions that are following us. For this boss fight, basically you're just going to kill all the little ghosts that are around before you can damage the main boss. And once they're all done, you can actually damage the big guy here. Alright, he is damageable, so we're now going to hit him as much as we can. Wait for him to do his thing, and he's going to spit out more ghosts soon that we have to kill. So just kind of weave through, nothing crazy here. Pretty simple battle. Killing the ghosts. And he's done. Look at that, and another ST, wow. Wisdom potion and coins. Cool. Coming up, the Puppet Master's Theater. This dungeon is a good source of attack potions in the early game, and also gives access to a full Sorcerer ST set. There's also a few items that are primarily used on Trickster. There's a dagger, a prism, and a leather armor. In terms of difficulty, this dungeon is like a medium, especially for new players. You just have to be careful during the boss fight. There's a lot of projectiles. In terms of annoyance, it is pretty annoying. It's very slow to run, and you can often get stuck in a room with a bunch of puppets that can really damage you. And in terms of time that it takes a decent amount of time in terms of these kind of dungeons, so it's a medium on the time there. Puppet Master's Theater. Alright, this dungeon has these kind of breakable walls that you see in a lot of the other ones. And the minions here, they tend to have a decent bit of health, and they kind of spam projectiles. They're all based on the other classes in the game, like a priest and a ninja here. And it's a very simple dungeon. Basically, break the walls down, clear out the room. Again, they're kind of weak to this circling strategy where you just kind of kite them around like this. None of them are overtly super dangerous, but you just have to be careful because they can kill you if they gang up on you. But usually it's pretty slow and steady kind of dungeon. So again, circling around, killing the puppets. And just making our way through. Not much to it other than that. Alright, I'm gonna guess down this time. Let's see. Probably here. And if you're impatient like me, you can just treat it like this, ignoring most of the enemies, running past them, only stopping when you need heal. Alright, we're gonna head into the boss fight here. This boss fight really isn't that hard, you just have to be careful, and there's a lot of stuff on your screen. So, he's gonna start by walking down and kind of shooting this flower-shaped pattern, sorta, and spawning these puppets. Just kill the puppets until he becomes vulnerable again. He shoots this spiral pattern. Not much to it here. Then he's going to spit off into a bunch of clones. You have to guess the right one, but usually it's easier just to kind of kill off all of them unless you get lucky and get it on the first try. But every time one dies, it'll just turn into a few puppets and shoot projectiles. Here we are. They're almost all dead. Alright. And once you get the right one, he goes back up here and just kind of does some more projectile shooting. I just want to kill these minions before I move in. Here we go. Almost done. Yeah, this one is kind of annoying to solo just because of the fact of how many minions he spawns. Ooh, getting kind of low here. I'll use a few potions just to be safe. Almost done. Let's see if we can just finish him off here. And he's dead. Cool. Ooh. Low, low. Wow. Ugh. Ah! Oh my god. And we got a white bag. Hey. Ooh, is that a shiny? Oh, it's not a shiny. Oh well. Anyway, Puppet Master's Theater done. Toxic Sewers. Oh, Toxic Sewers. This dungeon is the primary source of defense potions in the early game and also gives access to a full Assassin ST set. There is the Void Blade for all of the Katana classes and the Poison for Assassin as well. In terms of difficulty, this dungeon is not really that difficult. You just have to be careful. In terms of annoyance, it is very high. Just walking through the sewer water can slow you, depending on how it's moving, and it sickens you, which is the worst status effect in the game. So it's extremely annoying. And in terms of time taken, well, let me just tell you, this is the longest dungeon that took me to record for this video. 4 whole minutes to solo it. So yeah, very long for these early game dungeons, and super annoying. I hate this one. Toxic Sewers. This is one of my least favorite early game dungeons because sitting in the sewage sickens you, which prevents healing, which is really frustrating. So you have to be very careful as you move through. If you take a lot of damage, you won't even be able to use your health potions to heal yourself back up. So you can see here how we're not regenerating at all. So we'll just wait a second to heal back before we move through. Again, sickened. You just have to go really slow. And it's usually just takes ages to get through. Plus the water pushes you back, making you go even slower. Oop, we gotta go back here. This is one of those dungeons where sometimes it's not even worth doing if you're by yourself, and it might be better to just wait for a large group to do it instead. So we'll keep going up here. Heading along. Just make sure you're not running into any of these kind of larger enemies as you path along here. And just really be careful of the water sickening. And don't run yourself into a corner. Kind of like what I'm doing right now. Here we go. Kiting through. Kiting through. Okay, we're sickened. We're just going to kite around in a circle now. Healing up with our ability. Just kiting around. Ring around the rosy. Ooh. Alright. Okay. Probably play a little bit more carefully, like, less like what I just did there, and nice and slow pace here for this if you're doing this as a new player. But I'm impatient, so. Alright, we're almost to the boss. It's just through here, so just make sure if any minions follow you in to just get rid of them before you start the boss fight. There's also a few of these big slime guys here always that will. They're not really that dangerous, but they can cause some problems if you're not being careful. And the boss will only activate once you go near it. Last slime. Here we go. He's dead. Okay. So we'll just wait to regen a little bit before we actually begin. Alright. So the boss is going to start out by just kind of rotating around. It's not very dangerous at all in this phase, but he just rotates around. You just want to try and damage him as much as you can. Then he'll do a more intensive bullet hell phase. Again, nothing too big. Just kind of like move up and down slightly, weaving through. And he's going to split into these little guys, which you have to kill on both sides of the arena here. So we're getting rid of the first one. And now the second one. They have slightly different shot patterns, but nothing crazy again. Here we go. Done. And he's going to go back to the middle and become 4 guys now. You have to kill all 4 of them. Oh. They move around. If you don't kill them in the middle, then they'll split up and go to all 4 sides. And then back to the middle again. Takes ages. And last one. You can see why this dungeon is a pain to solo. It's much better in a group where you can split up and kill them. Last phase, the boss is just going to chase you around. He's going to follow you directly, so just kite back. Really nothing dangerous. And he is done. Here is our defense potion. Cursed Library. This dungeon is a good source of vitality and wisdom potions, usually giving 1 of each. Some of the enemies in here can drop miscellaneous ones, and the second boss can drop attack potions. There is a full ST Archer set in here, as well as a wand and tome for priests, a seal for paladins, and a dagger for the dagger classes from the second boss. In terms of difficulty, this dungeon is a medium. Some of the minions are more dangerous than the boss. In terms of time, it takes a decent amount of time to get through. Depending on your layout, it can kind of take a while for an early game dungeon. And in terms of annoyance, I would say it's pretty annoying. Depending on your luck, the minions can really get in the way and cause some problems for you. Cursed Library. Alright, this dungeon's kind of long and arduous, so just take it slow. I also ran out of health potions, so I need to collect those on this run here. But yeah, just be careful of the minions. They can definitely deal some serious damage to you. So just keep an eye out for them. Don't stand on top of them. There's also a few invisible enemies in here. So just be careful. If you see projectiles coming from nothing, it is one of them. So just watch out. Alright. We'll just weave our way through here. This might be a dead end, unfortunately. No, it looks like it isn't. Yeah, just don't let them stand on top of you. Try and make your way through as best as you can. Just get to the boss fight. Sometimes, if your luck is bad, you can just take ages to get through here. But we're getting pretty lucky here, so we can just get through. Oh, the slowing. Ooh, well, there goes my 1 health potion. Alright, I'm gonna chill out for a second now and just get my health back. But this is the boss arena. So how it's gonna work, you move up to start the boss fight and he's gonna start running. You kind of want to just follow him around. And when he gets to a certain level, he will run back to the center. And he'll start shooting these waves. Oh, he's still running around for a second. Where's he gonna go? Okay, back to the middle. He shoots the waves out, and you kind of have to like play hole in the wall and sneak your way through. And then once he gets even lower, the waves will start coming from both directions now. So again, just try and find the gap on both sides. He'll run around one more time. Where did he even go? Up here? Okay. And you can look on the mini-map to see where he's going. Just careful not to stand on the things because they will explode and hit you from all sides. Here he is. Get back here. Come on. Almost there. No, get back here. Alright. And he's done. Easy peasy. Not too bad, just kind of annoying. Alright. Coming up next is the Mad Lab. This dungeon is a good source of various potions, primarily wisdom and attack. The second boss can drop defense. There's also a full sorcerer ST set in here. And a few items, again, for sorcerer from the boss. There's a wand for the wand classes, a scepter for sorcerer, a robe, which is pretty good, and a ring in here. In terms of length, this dungeon, I would say, is a medium. It takes a minute or two to get through if you're rushing. In terms of difficulty, it's pretty easy, especially the end boss is one of the easiest bosses for this level of dungeon in the whole game. And in terms of annoyance, it's kind of annoying. You have to break the walls, which takes a while, but if you're in a group, it's not a problem at all. Alright, Mad Lab. How this dungeon works, there's the blue goo and the green goo. Well, I guess it's water, but anyway, the green goo will turn you into a creature of some sort. It makes you really fast, but you can't attack or use your ability, and the water will wash it off you. So your main goal is to just kind of weave your way through, find your way through this sort of maze of the dungeon, and get to the boss. There's also these things. If you break every single one, there's a secret boss in this dungeon, but it just takes ages and usually isn't worth doing unless you're in a large group. And there's also these breakable walls here that we can bust down to make our way through. Just killing the enemies, moving past. Yep, dead end. This dungeon takes a long time to solo, so usually it's not worth it by yourself. But in a group, it's chill. Alright, here we go. Busting down the walls. The minions here aren't really that dangerous. They don't jump at you or anything, so if you have enough range, you can just pick them off. Or just run past, honestly. Like these little robot guys. The only danger is getting stuck against one of these walls with the minions right on you. And we can just run through here. Looks like this is the way. Remember to touch the water if you get transformed. Almost to the boss. And we head into the boss fight. This guy is really easy. Just careful not to stand on the things he throws out because it can kind of explode you in one hit. And also these little pylon things will explode a bunch of shots, so just be careful of that as well. If you're standing on them, you're pretty much done. But you can see he literally almost does nothing as long as you just kill the things he throws out. It's one of the easiest bosses in the game. He goes in this test tube and he's going to chill for a bit while these Minions come out. I believe we have to kill all the minions before he'll pop out. If you're in a group, you almost will never see this phase. Just because you kill him so fast. And there he is. Comes out again. And he should be dead, pretty much. Weaving back and forth. Not much to it here. And he is done. Easy peasy. We only get one wisdom pot. What a waste of time. Abyss of Demons. This is the dungeon that is the primary source of vitality potions in the early game, and can also drop defense, and some of the minions can drop attack as well. There's a full Mystic ST set that can drop here, as well as the Demon Blade and the Volcanic Sheath for sword classes and Kensei respectively. This dungeon, in terms of difficulty, is definitely a medium dungeon. You have to be really careful of the minions and lava because they can deal a lot of damage to you quickly. In terms of time, it's also about medium, depending on how fast and confident you are. It can really vary in terms of time it takes. And in terms of annoyance, it's pretty annoying. You have to watch out for the high damage and the lava. And the paths that cross the lava also slow you as well, so be careful of those. Alright, Abyss of Demons. This dungeon is a little bit tricky. It's kind of similar to Ancient Ruins, where you get slowed, but you get slowed by walking on the paths, and you have to be careful of the lava. The enemies in here also tend to deal a lot of damage, and they really like to run at you like this, so just be super careful. If you don't have high defense or health, just take it really slow, and don't rush your way through things. That's a great way to get killed here. And don't run in the lava. You can step on it a little bit, but don't spend a lot of time in there. So we're just gonna kind of walk our way through, kiting the enemies back, and we'll get a little bit of recovery time here. Just kind of like doing a little bit of a sprint and then a stop to let your health come back. Kite back here. Oh, we're getting attacked on both sides. And just moving our way, hopefully closer to the boss. Here we go. Getting through, getting through. Yeah, you can see how much damage we're taking just from the little minions here. It's quite dangerous. Alright. Heading up into the boss. In the arena, there's always going to be these white demon guys, so just be careful. It's sometimes worth just killing them before you actually start the fight, so you have less projectiles to worry about. So we'll kill all them. And we're going to begin the boss fight. He's going to start by rotating around. You just kind of kite him back, dealing damage. See, here's one of the demons that we didn't kill is getting in the way. Now he's going to rotate the other direction. Just kind of stay in the center. And now he's going to kind of charge at us, spitting out a bunch of projectiles. You can just kite him back. And that is the end. Easy peasy. The boss fight here is much easier than the actual clear. Manor of the Immortals. This dungeon is a good source of attack, and also drops a full rogue ST set, a rather weak dagger that is UT, and a full set of items for the priests that are all UT, and a strange working katana for the katana classes. This dungeon is on the easier side. The minions can be dangerous, but don't really worry too much about it. In terms of time, it doesn't really take that much time at all. And in terms of annoyance, it's rather low. There's almost nothing annoying in here. The boss fight can take a little bit if you're solo, but otherwise in a group, it is very chill. Good dungeon. Alright, Manor of the Immortals. This dungeon is not too hard. Just be careful of the enemies. They like to run at you like that. And they can kind of cluster up in big groups. That can be a problem, but otherwise, nothing too bad. Just be careful of them running at you like that, but they die very quickly. So we'll just continue on, making our way to the boss fight. Killing the enemies as we go. Wow, that's a lot of enemies in here. So many bats. Oh, man. But yeah, just running through. Nothing too scary here. We'll heal up. We'll take a little bit of time just to recover our health. Alright. Making our way. Almost to the boss. Oop, that's a lot of damage. We'll just move back, use our health potion. Wait for our mana to come back so we can heal up. Ooh. I need to stop being so reckless with this. Alright, we're moving into the boss fight. So he's going to spit out these coffins and teleport around. Once the bats conglomerate, he'll become vulnerable. You'll just be able to hit him. And he'll teleport back to the center, spawning more bats. And now you have to break the coffins. So just kind of rotate around, breaking the coffins. Every time they'll spawn these bats, so you just gotta watch out for them. Breaking the coffins. Once all 4 are down, he will become vulnerable. So he'll now rotate around a little bit. And we'll just hit him as much as we can using our ability. He'll teleport back to the middle. And he is done. Easy, easy, easy. Alright, coming up last but definitely not least is the Haunted Cemetery. This dungeon drops a wide array of rainbow potions for you to get, and is very helpful in your early game maxing journey, so definitely do these. There's a lot of UT and ST items that come from here as well. There is a full ST rogue set, and there is a few different ones that can be upgraded later in the game using the rare drop from the Spectral Penitentiary. There is a staff, poison, and armor that can be upgraded, as well as the coveted amulet. The amulet, when upgraded by the spectral item, gives you a one-time immunity to death, as long as you don't die in one hit exactly. So it is extremely worth to do. And if you get your hands on one of those with a lot of slots, you better keep it. So don't lose it, alright? Don't lose it. Like me. In terms of difficulty, this dungeon is very easy. In terms of time, it is very quick. And in terms of annoyingness, it's almost not annoying at all. Like, if you have a group of people, which you probably will for this one, it is free. Let me tell you, great dungeon. Perfect for maxing early game. But you'll probably get sick of it when you actually get your vial of soul extract. Haunted Cemetery. This one I'm actually going to be doing in a group because it's kind of made to do that. But when you're ready to go, you just type ready, and the first phase will start. It's just going to be a collection of minions that you kind of fight through in waves. And there's 3 sections in total, each with their own boss. Sections 1 and 2 can have slightly different boss fights, depending on the RNG. And here's the first boss. This ghost goes into the statue, and you're going to kill the statue. Then they'll leave it and go to the next statue, which you then kill, and finally the ghost becomes vulnerable and you can kill it. Running around, nothing too crazy here, just weaving through. And we get some potions and coins for a Halloween event. If you're playing later and there's no Halloween coins, don't worry about it. It's just a seasonal thing. Again, you type ready, and round 2 will begin. Different enemies this time, and a different boss fight as well. Weaving through, killing the enemies. Nothing crazy. Alright, this guy is the Pumpkin King. He's going to have these 3 things that rotate around him. You have to kill them, and then you can actually harm him. So we knock out all 3 of these pumpkins, and then he becomes vulnerable. And he'll chase a player, just kite back, and deal as much damage as you can to him, until he's dead. And done. Again, another 2 potions. This dungeon is very lucrative in its potions. Head up to the top for round 3, which is the final boss of this dungeon. Scold himself, the guy who's been asking you to say ready the whole time. His fight has a lot of projectiles on screen, but not a lot of them are very important. So just don't get overwhelmed and focus on dodging the ones from these guys that can do a lot of damage like that. Killing the minions, and Scold himself will teleport around and just shoot out a bunch of shots all around. But your goal is to just kind of, when he teleports, get close to him so you can get some damage in. And once you kill the minions, they become these kind of flying skulls that just move around the arena. Here's Scold over here. We'll try and get our damage in. Watch out for that. It can petrify you. And don't let the skulls sit on you because they shoot shots on top of themselves. Like that, just backing away. He's almost done. One more big wave. And this should be the end. Boom, there he is. He'll teleport to the top, to the middle, and then die. Alright, our 2 potions and a coin. Hey, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. This one took an extreme amount of time and effort compared to the rest of the videos I made, so please, 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 tell me if you enjoyed it in the comments. Thanks for watching again, and see you later.